Okay. Yep. Alright. I still have some sound on. See how this goes. Probably need better backgrounds on the bottom. While I'm on PC. Game sound is probably also a little bit too loud. I'm gonna bring that down. It feels slightly easier to queue wake-up intercepts on PC. I do have to admit. But you kind of have to spam them. Hey, Mr. V. I might want to make the text size on my chat playback larger. I may play with that a little bit as we go. Drop the block at exactly the right time. Hey, wait. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna... Wait, where's the... Oh, it's this one. Okay. Alright. Stream chat, lock, text settings. I don't know. What size is it now? It's not really telling me. Ooh! Okay. That is better. Let's try that. Hey, Madrox. Yeah, I'm pretty early on this. I've been busy, but I don't want to leave too much on the table. Yeah, it's all fine. Sim City guy or a City Skylines guy? I've never got into City Skylines because I'm kind of careful with Paradox games. I don't fully trust them. Um, which means that I'm a SimCity guy, but like more out of default. Like I played SimCity 4 a lot back in the day. Where it's really at though is Zoo Tycoon. I don't agree with that at all, wait. Bluntly. Also, let me know as time goes by if how you feel about this text size. Okay, they added a hotkey for that. That is much better. Hey, Dane. Excuse me. Ooh. It's clearly a little bit late on that. And that. Hey, Pablo. I got you. Wait, and I probably could have phrased it better a bit, but I have not had that experience at all. Hey, Jake. I appreciate that. I'm officially done with actual work for the year, so hoping to get some more out before too long. Yeah, I'll be up in Pittsburgh for a bit of it. Some friends are getting married. But while I'm here, I'll be on a bit. Yeah, there's nothing in the challenges that requires you to be done with NecroJ. Hey, Sep, how's it going? That's funny, Madrox. I didn't learn how to Quake until Variant 1, and then I didn't get a 5-star Quake until literally as my exploration rewards for Act 6. She has not really been a large part of my career. Yeah, I will be saying hi to Sim while I'm up there. Hey, number 7. It was a good day. I pulled Diablo, got Dazzle from Arena, and we all got out Isophine. Nice. It's a good day. Jesus. One of the things that still gets me on PC is that I find, like, holding block feels less stable than when you're doing it with just touching a screen. And so a certain amount of time, especially against more erratic AIs, like in Arena, I just get hit. Play Marvel Snap now. Nice. Hope you're enjoying it. Hey, Javier. 0-point gang. Please die. Yeah, that's alright. I mean, that's not their primary objective, Jay, but it's certainly something that we're aware of. The design approach to some of those fights is definitely, well, you ain't gonna learn any younger. Nice, Jay. That's awesome to hear. I'm glad the challenges are going well. Any discussion of increasing quest team size? Yeah, you can let me know where it's coming from if you want, but the short answer is definitely no on that one. So much of the game is balanced around a quest team of 5. Like, both the difficulty of quests, the structure of paths, but also just balancing and the way synergies work, and, like, the strength of certain characters with generic abilities and, like, class relationships. The game is so built around a quest team of 5 that 6 is just pretty off the table. And yes, this is PC. Whoop. Which is why I'm late on more parries than usual. Afternoon, Sans. See, that's the other thing, is that I don't think it would actually help that much weight. Because in a lot of quests, people only use 2 or 3 characters anyway. Hey, Aji. I appreciate the apology. Nothing has... I'm not going to say you didn't say anything that crossed the line, but nothing was egregious enough for me to remember it today. So, no worries. Oh, right. He can't auto-block heavies. I've gotten used to that. I would go for it and do what you can, Addict, yeah. Like, I'm not perfect about it, but when I've had time to actually try the fights on my alt account, it has definitely been worth it. Now, if you come up against a fight and it feels like you're just, you know, if it feels like you're not going to get through it without spending dozens of revives, then don't bother, right? Like, put a feeler out, try and figure out whether you can actually do it sustainably in, like, I don't know, the 5 to 10 range. But yeah, there's no shame in reviving on these fights, and if you feel like you can do it sustainably, they're really good rewards for a small account. Like, they're more important for you than for Valiants in a lot of ways. You know who can auto-block heavies when you have strength 3? Nice. Ocent or Penny? Yeah. A Cosmic? Okay. Do I have the sigil? I do have the sigil. Deathless Thanos is not officially called Maidenless Thanos. I just had that joke on the design doc for a few months. North Star is absolutely better than people think. My brain is not wired correctly for perfect release on PC. Yeah, I just tried to hit the back button, or the dodge button instead of the block. Yeah, B, exactly. Thanks, Jake. I like Thanos a lot. Alright, let's be careful with Dazzler. Oh, yeah, but I was saying, yes, North Star is getting buffed, but North Star is definitely better than people think. I think that's true for an awful lot of characters that get buffed. I will definitely be using Patriot against Cassie, yes. Yeah, I would not get the sigil for Express Arena. I would get the sigil for everything else that's good about it. I was about to say I'm very out of practice with Taskmaster, but I don't know when I ever really was in practice with Taskmaster. But you can kind of see it coming in there at the end. Oh, wait. I need to be doing the other arena now. Alright, well, we already hit go on this one, so let's do that and then head over. Need more buff heavy defenders. See, that's the thing that still gets me on PC sometimes, right there. Dashing right after dodging, or vice versa, just, I don't know. There's a hang-up, I feel. How does perfect release feel on mobile compared to PC? I just said this. It's not good. But that is purely because I have not connected the wires yet. Ouch. Yeah, like, these Autumn of Agony fights are a really good illustration of something that I said back when North Star first came out. Which is that, like, people focus way too much on whenever a champion is good at ramp, they go, oh, so only Everest. Anything under 5 million, not worth it. And honestly, that's just absolute nonsense. Like, just because someone is slow for Battlegrounds does not mean that the only thing they can do is an Aegon imitation. See right there. I know it's difficult to punish Warlock Special. I'm not worried about that. But, like, dodging the heavy and then coming in with the medium just did not feel good. Wait, is Nefarian still broken with Matador? I thought we fixed that. If that didn't go out in this patch... Okay. I really did not want to log in tomorrow, but I'll bring it up. Anyway, yeah. Medium-length fights exist. North Star's great. North Star will be better. No, I appreciate it, Jay. It's nice to hear that people are happy. Especially today. There's been a fair amount of community vitriol in the last 48 hours or so. I think you probably did it wrong, Wait. But also I saw something with Photon's Heavy getting around it in a way that I was not expecting the other day. And so it is possible something is bugged. I haven't gotten a replay file of it, though, just yet. I've never heard Ant-Man shrinking sounds before. That is wild. We can hear it. You're also a combo masher. I know that. I'm sorry you can hear it. That's why I don't play. Well, one of the reasons I don't play on keyboard. Tomorrow is going to be fun. Nah, I can hear it too. I have open back headphones. What's cynical about that, Sans? Champions the community wrote off because they don't value utility being good in a fight that asks for utility? Say it ain't so! Banquet and also the rebalancing stuff. Accelerate, why would you even ask if that was meant to be? Like, I'm sorry, dude, but come on. We're not intentionally tuning stuff to whiff. Nah, just submit a bug report. Somebody will get to it. Someone tried telling me the other day that North Star rebounds is a nerf. Yeah, that's because people are silly and don't understand nuance or trade-off or compromise, and that's why they're not game designers. Sorry, I'm a little bit spicy today. Controller MSD, how's it going, man? Yeah, there's basically zero chance that what you just said is what Patriot's gonna get immoral. Alright, let me actually play this properly. Yeah, but I also agree with you later. Mikhail, you are wrong. Patriot's issue is not damage. Also, the SIG ability literally does give a good amount of block proficiency. What are you talking about? Hope they don't mess up and increase the potency of the physical vuln. Why do you say that? How is that messing up? Or let me ask that a different way. Why do you think that it is objectively that the fury needs to go up and not the physical vuln? What really is the difference there in your mind? Yeah, if anybody thinks that Patriot doesn't have damage, then I'm going to be completely blunt. They're either not being fair in the comparison, or they're not playing him right, or both. I mean, if that were true, Sans, then we would be specifically selling Valiant crystals for those characters right now, because otherwise we're not selling them, right? Evening, John. Welcome. Nuki is Hell Wild West. That's normally not my favorite kind, but I'm glad you're enjoying it. We do have to put them out for everybody. He still takes crazy damage from Photon's blocked hits. That's because Photon has giant freaking furies. And because she has physical vulnerabilities. There's a few things there, but like block proficiency is not the issue. Patriot protects his block proficiency very, very well. Photon has other threats. I was really expecting that special 2 to kill. I'd also enjoy Makari. When fighting Cassie, my main issue is him not doing any damage. Then, again, I'm sorry, you were probably not playing him correctly. Especially in longer fights, Patriot has very good damage. That was my bad. Nah, I don't think more resolve is the thing either. Yeah, and I'm sorry, I'm going to be very upfront. Whatever Patriot gets is not going to be an answer to damaging debuffs. I've been very clear on that in the past. Like, the community thinking that every single skill champion needs an answer to all debuffs is because we messed up with Kingpin. It's not because that's what the skill class needs to be doing. Yeah, no, I know you did say it would be OP. I mean, there's a couple things going on there, Immoral, but like when you say the issue's keeping up the precision and fury, you're not supposed to keep them up forever. That's not the point of the kit. That's why it's so easy to get them. Like, especially when you're fighting somebody like Photon, just reversal again. Like, you can always get more. I think that's one of the biggest things that I saw people saying in the early reactions that I just think was kind of missing the point. is that just because something can pause does not mean it's supposed to feel permanent. The pause is for skill expression, right? The pause is for you playing better and holding on to it longer. But at some point, I do expect you to re-up it. Yeah, but I do appreciate the comment or the compliment, Hulk, and I realize everything you're saying is coming from a good place. I'm sorry if I'm coming across a little bit pointed today. I'm halfway through a glass of bourbon, and I speak forcefully, but I appreciate the discussion. Hey, Finn, and hi, JJ. Nah, that's definitely not the answer, Rex. That's just Kingpin. Like, converting all non-damaging debuffs into resolve. He explicitly is not supposed to have debuff control like that. God, this champion is so bad. There's literally nothing interesting you can do with Unstoppable Colossus. No, your chats aren't invisible, Ego. You're just impatient. You've said one thing and I'm actively playing and I'm a bit behind on chat. I haven't gotten to you yet. You also didn't really say something that there was a whole lot of responding to I could do. Dang, okay. Catching myself. Let's go do the other one. Why? Okay. They made the objective screen better, but this ain't it yet. This ain't it at all. You have much better chances of getting Nick than Kingpin anytime soon. Hey, Bryce. Do I feel he needs a buff? Just curious. So, like, I'm still very happy with Patriot's design. There's complicated things to say here, and like I said, I've had a bit of bourbon, and it is difficult to say complicated things cleanly in ways that cannot be used against you or misunderstood. So give me a second. I think what I can say is that Patriot is playing in some very dangerous design spaces. By which I mean that, like, if we ship too many nullifiers, we can release nullify immunes, right? If we ship somebody who does too much neuroshock damage, we can release neuroshock immunes, right? Like, I know that people like don't like talking about that kind of stuff, but like the simple truth is that we have those levers. The ways in which Patriot are powerful are very difficult to actually mess with, right? Like, mutants can answer him because he has a bunch of things that specifically call out things. But, like, nobody else is ever really gonna do anything to him. Like, he just locks his block proficiency. He locks the opponent's block penetration. He locks his own regen rate. He benefits from debuffs on himself in a way that no one other than mutants is likely to ever really mess with. You have to, as a designer and as a design team, you have to respect that. And there was I'll be blunt, there was a fair amount of fear about that on the team. The job of all of us as a design team is to hold each other accountable, and the job of any individual designer is to kind of stick to your guns the correct amount, right? I think I probably pulled my punches a little bit too much on Patriot. And so I think that like, there's no arguing with the data, right? His data was actually bad. And while I still like the character, while I still have had a lot of success with the character myself, while I have seen other people have success with him, like, all of that is still true. If the data's bad, then that means that there's room for, like I said, pulling a few fewer punches. And I have ideas on where to go. There have been some good ideas in here that are kind of along the right lines that I'm already thinking. But obviously I can't speak specifically about that. It's not officially my job. The balance team handles those kinds of things. I may have some input, but I may not. Hopefully that answers a fair bit of that. I'm trying to catch up on chat a bit. Welcome, Faith Through Fire. Appreciate you. Natural Habitat Shorts. Your way of speaking reminds me so much of one of the Father Bird characters. That's funny. It kind of does, John. I don't think that's necessary, though. Which bourbon? Just Bullet 10. Nice, simple sipping bourbon. Yeah, Spider Ham's are really good in Necropolis. It's possible, Immoral. Like, the weakness is something we could look at, right? Because actually, that's something that you could look at within my own designs that have already come out as a learning. Because Patriot's weakness scales, if I remember... No. Patriot's weakness does have a minimum potency. It doesn't scale from 0. I'm remembering that incorrectly. So it's possible, but we'll see. Why do we never seem to touch trophy champs? Aren't those specifically the champs that should be buffed? I'm going to ask you to unpack that, Mikhail. Why do you think that those are specifically champs that should be buffed? Like, I can answer and talk about it, but you're bringing up an assumption I don't think everybody would agree with to this, and so I'd like to hear you expand on it. I will say the extended heavy charge is something I regret not putting in, Aji. I didn't think it was necessary, and I thought that we would be able to fix the AI not hitting into heavy attacks. And there are ways to play around it, which I tell people in the spotlight. But I do think that one of the reasons his data is on the worst side is because most people are just not good at doing that. And I think it's the same thing that if Mr. Negative had first released with the AI the way it is right now, then I think Mr. Negative's data would have been terrible too. And it is definitely difficult to separate out that from Patriot's performance. Yeah, I can use mouse to claim things, but the controller should work, right? Like the whole point of a controller working is you should be able to sit on your couch and not use a mouse. And just ugh. Black Hole, that's a good question. The simple answer is because there are already plenty of characters that stop pure light form completely, right? But the only way to stop pure light form is with ability accuracy for the debuffs. And where was Photon like almost completely unanswered? On Force of Will. If you give Photon extra ability accuracy, most of her existing counters just kind of fall apart. Not Patriot. The core thing I was doing with him was saying, that's fine, you can ramp, because sometimes you can't stop that, and I'm going to beat you anyway. What are the chances for Agent Venom to come out as a 7-star? Unchanged? Close to 0. Do you think Kabam should inform us about the unit increase before Banquet? No! I'm sorry, but like... no! Y'all are not entitled to any info about this beforehand. Also, we did tell you before Banquet. And I know what you mean is more than 48 hours ahead of time, but no! Like, I'm sorry, I know I'm laughing, I know I'm in a spicy mood today, but let's walk through this for a minute. Like, when you say we should have known, what you mean is you wanted to know to save more units and not spend them on other things, right? Now, I've seen plenty of people, who have saved enough units for the, quote, increased level. You're getting more for it. Calling it a unit, calling it an increase is a little bit disingenuous, but taking it on its face. I've seen plenty of people who have saved enough for the, quote, higher number be very unhappy that they did save for the higher number because they're not excited about the rewards and they wish that they had spent it on cyber. And so if we had just given y'all extra info way ahead of time, then more people probably would have skipped out on cyber and then been angry because they shouldn't have skipped out on cyber. The same way that a bunch of people who did skip out on cyber shouldn't have, and that's why the advice that I gave to everyone was if you see something good on cyber, get it. Like, telling people earlier doesn't help, right? I'm sorry, but it's just a really good example of why, like, when you're playing a live service game like this, you're not going to get perfect information. That is not an option that is on the table. And if you truly accept that, then us telling you 2 days ahead of time is about as generous as it's going to get, and anything else is just trying to compromise in a way that's not likely to really work. Having trouble ramping Ice Fiend up on Awakened, this is pretty normal. I mean, the Awakened ability makes her, like, get going faster, but it doesn't affect her ability to ramp up, so you might just not be comfortable with the tempo yet. She is a little bit difficult to hold on to tempo for when she's not fighting buff-heavy matchups. Her crit rate is super low, yes. And I've seen people complain about this, but the thing to remember is that one of Isophine's primary targets was Serpent. And Serpent has crit resistance. And so if Isophine was tuned to require critting, if Isophine was tuned around a normal amount of critting elsewhere, then she would have felt worse against Serpent because he would have stopped her crits. If Isophine was tuned around a normal crit rate, but then was tuned to feel good against Serpent, she'd be overpowered everywhere else. And so what their designer chose to do was instead keep her crit rate very low so that there's not much of a delta between her damage against Serpent and everywhere else. There. I'm going to keep doing that. I apologize. She's officially they, them. So I just did it again. I feel bad about this. Ice Fiend is officially they, them. She, they isn't totally off. Okay. Eh. I'm gonna pass on that, JJ. I did lose some frames in there, Aiden. Thanks, person with a somewhat questionable name, for subscribing. Yeah, no, Kingpin is not healthy for the class. Jesus, I'm sorry, y'all have been chatting a lot. I'm not upset about you for it. I appreciate when you're talkative, but give me a second to catch up. Oh. And thanks, Aji. I'm glad that my different perspective gives me something. Eh. Hey, JJ. I am a content creator. Excuse you. I do think that if Patriot had been left alone, people would have figured things out, and reception would have eventually gotten better. I like he's everything about him is the kind of things that age well, which is part of why we were careful, right? Like I said, I probably pulled my punches a little bit too much. I should have stood my ground more, but like, yeah, I'm still proud of the design. I don't know, Pablo. Honestly, that's more of a question for the balance team. As someone who isn't doing balance review, I'm not sure I'm qualified to make that comment. Okay, so when you say they're huge fan favorites, the trophy champions, you're specifically talking about their place in the lore rather than their place in the game. Is that fair to say? Thanks for being a member, Darkness. I appreciate it. Yes, we knew exactly how good Wong would be. That's fine. A lot of people didn't use him the first time around. If people rank up Wong, that's worth something. And bluntly, this is going to sound very callous, but like the same way that people using Aegon the first time around cost them quite a few revives, the same way that a lot of people did runs with Kate that didn't look nearly as clean as those from the people who streamed it. There are going to be a lot of people who use Wong and die a lot and revive a lot, and that's okay. If they want to do that, that's fine. There's a bunch of other great characters in that pool. Yeah, I hear you, Bryce. I also wish that you didn't have to use that trick, and I really thought we were going to be able to fix it because it felt like the kind of thing that we would be able to fix, and nope, that part of the AI is more broken than we thought. Hey, Clobberin. Yeah, banquet starts in 14 hours. Banquet rewards are overall better. In some ways, but like, there was really good guaranteed stuff at Cyber, dude. There was really good guaranteed stuff. I got multiple Awakening gems from Cyber. Yeah. Watch it, Hellboys. I don't like where that comment is going. Nice, Clobber. Yeah, Ice Fiend just doesn't need the crits. Like, people are way too attached to their yellow numbers. I was one of those runs with Kate that cost too many revives. Yeah, we know you're out there. We appreciate you, and I hope that you had fun and felt like you had really figured some things out by the end of the run. Oh, just the heavy charge, Finn. I hoped that we'd be able to fix the attacking into heavy charge. How good do I think my luck will be for Banquet? Bad. My luck is no. I just always go into literally everything random, assuming my luck will be bad. It's one of the reasons that I prefer something like Cyber to Banquet. I generally don't have great RNG with this game. I never have. I'm happier if I just assume it'll be bad, go for the guaranteed things when I can, and be pleasantly surprised whenever I'm wrong. Well, enjoy your dad's birthday, Mikhail. A lot of birthdays in my medium extended family around this time of year. Nah, it's okay. Don't worry. Pull the 7-star skill gem from Necro is holding for Kingpin out of the question. Hey man, you do what you want to do. I'd hope to use mine before then. Started playing in mid-September during the Fairies event. Nice. Most fun part of the run was finishing it. Did get one solo with her towards the end. Nice. I'm glad. Input queuing? Yeah. No, I know that there are tricks. You've talked about this before. At that point, though, that's like not necessarily any easier than just doing the heavy trick. And what we're talking about is that that's already apparently a bit too complicated for the average summoner to pick up. And I don't mean that as a shot, I just mean that as like, that's what the data says. I would not try with the 6-star Wong Tony. For like two reasons. One, the thing about Wong is that he needs time to ramp and then he shines. And the 6-star has a lower ceiling than the 7-star and has a lot less time to ramp. And the other thing is just that there are so many great characters in that pool that you're probably better off using one of them as a 7-star than trying to force Wong just because somebody told you that he was the best option. Oh yeah, no, the banquet rewards are great. But I don't think it's at all objective that they're much better than Cyber or anything like that. I think people just really like gambling, which isn't a surprise because we play a gotcha game. But I think a lot of the people who, quote, just really like gambling don't like to admit that they like gambling, and so they start saying things like, oh, this is objective or whatever, when it's just not. Arm's length family. I don't mind that at all. Hey, I blocked. You jerk. Ooh, catching on dashback. Don't like that one bit, Mr. Hulk. I always forget about the invulnerability. Not always. But if I haven't fought him in a while. Mechanically easier is not necessarily the same thing as easier, Finn. I get where you're coming from. I'm not sure that's a fair analysis in the broader sense. Whew, my words are slowing down today. I did a lot of typing today. Yeah, I think boosted 7-star rank 2 champs would be totally fine, right? Like, as long as they're the right ones, like 7-star rank 2 Wong would be fine without a boost. Null would be great at rank 2. Photon would be solid. Spam would be solid. If you're a good Enchantress player, that'll do it great. Like this, yeah, like again, a lot of options. I know Enchantress is in the Gods one, but you get what I mean. Rhino buff when? No, that's a good question. I've done sketches on Rhino before. You could do some fun stuff there. Definitely not a guarantee. Like, me doing sketches means nothing. I have no power. I'm not in the balance program. I love gambling. I'm just bad at it. That's awesome, CT. How am I liking Vox and Necropolis? Haven't tried it recently, but I know people have been successful with them. There was a thing that lets you see how much you spent in this game. Unfortunately, it's right at the top of your player page in our internal admin software, so I know exactly how much I have spent over my career. Wouldn't wish it on people. You jerk. Instead of it being too difficult, people don't think it's worth learning. I wouldn't even say that, Pablo. I think a lot of people just don't even think about it, right? Like, you have to remember that the average player of this game does not open YouTube. Most people who tried to play Patriot didn't even watch the deep dive, let alone my spotlight, let alone pulled up a video of somebody explaining input queuing, right? And, like, it's fine if we have difficult characters. It's fine if the average summoner bounces off someone like Viv. But Patriot wasn't supposed to be that difficult to play. And I don't think he is that difficult overall. But like I said, it's why I wish I had extended his heavy charge time. Because that just would have... The results might not have been exceptional, but it just would have reduced the fail rate. Technically correct is the best kind of correct. I know you're half joking, Finn, but one of our senior designers in the studio, one of my favorite lines that I've ever heard him use. Just a little bit too soon. Dang it. Was in this one meeting, he said, "You're not wrong, but you're not right enough." That is honestly just like... is such a good line because it is so true so much of the time. Like, so many people love being technically correct, but sometimes, you know what's better than being technically correct? Being right. Yeah, I do like Vox's Awakened Ability Ego, but I think in Necropolis, as long as you're not too greedy, you'd be fine without the SIG. That's interesting. Okay, so Voodoo's cheating. Of course Voodoo's cheating. I had to explicitly code Kushala to make sure she wasn't. We need to fix that at some point. Exactly, John. A whole stream of DLL looking up how much people have spent. Oof. Only if you explicitly ask me, and even then I would only even comment on it if you asked me to. That is a deep invasion if somebody has not signed up for it. Yeah, Vox versus Spidey Supreme's a good fight, for sure. Yeah, Shield is fantastic, too. If you want to know CT, I can let you know. I'm not going to look it up right now, but yeah, I can find it. That was my fault. I think knowing how much I've spent would make me quit spending. You're probably right. It's a sobering total if you've played for 10 years. It's not that bad if I spread it out over that time period, but that total ain't pleasant. Oh, that's a good point, Aiden. I think the number's displayed in US. I honestly don't know. Do I ever look at YouTubers' accounts? I don't. I don't know that there's a rule specifically against it. Like, I would frown upon it, you know? But that's like, I would frown upon it on myself. I have warned people before. If people have asked me to like, because I have to go to that screen if I'm helping import somebody's account into the CCP beta or something, which I've done once or twice. And I have warned people before, like, hey, on this screen, I will see like your total. I've gotten a lot better at scrolling past it and not looking as I've worked at Kabam, but at first, when I was still kind of figuring out what I was doing in the admin software, it was basically impossible to miss. Yeah, you could give reversal a duration for sure. Hey now, Mikhail. How dare you? Patriot is an important character. Thoughts on Moondragon? I love Moondragon. Moondragon I consider one of my stepchildren because I definitely guided her in the direction of Carl's interrupt gameplay. I like it a lot. You can if you want, Finn, sure. I'm not sure we'd want to do that right away. Because then, like, the minute if the first reversal has a duration, then people will expect all of them to have a duration, and that's tricky. But we'll see. Yeah, Voodoo used to be very good. I'd sign up, but it might become a depressing stream. I'll think about it, y'all. Maybe someday. I really miss the combo tracker on PC. Ouch. Ooh. I don't know, Hasama. I only know one person who can do that, and I know he has to do it manually, so I'm not willing to parcel out his time. If I knew how to do it, I'd be willing to look. But as far as I know, that's just not something that's publicly available. Apologies. Curious about Usafa, but not curious enough to get anyone in trouble. Yeah, I would never tell someone somebody else's number. Absolutely not. The only way I'm looking at Usafa's account is if he asks me to. That's right. Do I know who came out with Red Hulk? I actually don't. I suppose somebody could check Aunt May. I know he was buffed alongside Luke, but that's all I've got. Over 10 years, I've very likely bought a car. Yeah. That's probably pretty common. Whoops. At least in the people who've been playing for 10 years and are engaged enough to be watching somebody do this on YouTube. One thing I don't like about Moondragon is that strikers don't pause Transcendence. That's a fair shout. Unfortunately, like, Moondragon was just very new in the striker era, right? Like, Adam was the first champion built with basically anything in my, specifically targeting strikers, and that was the same build as Moondragon. I do think there's a decent chance that if she came out today, strikers would pause her Transcendence. Yeah, I'm with you there. I'm with you there, CT. My income has also gone up as I've played the game, you know, due to being hired by the game. And I'm pretty sure that there are probably some dumb tickets somewhere back there with my name on them too, from when I was a player. I don't know where to find them, if so, before anybody asks, but I do know that my account does have a few, like, transaction records of, like, refunds or, you know, energy that was provided to me because I complained about it, like, I don't know, 7 years or whatever. That stuff does show up. Mystic Champ's abilities have changed a lot. Yeah. I mean, I won't say... I don't agree that no other class has this many abilities. Because that's something that we do look at. And the tech class has a lot of stuff. Mystics are at least a bit more focused than tech. Mutants are all over the place if you really include all of them. Like, I know what you mean, though. Mystics have evolved a lot over time. I don't know, I didn't really have anywhere else going with that. Like, you're not wrong with the observation. Except for when you said that no other class has that many abilities. I think that's not quite true. Yeah, Quicksilver's animations are great. Yeah, you can try submitting a ticket. I don't know if anybody in support knows how to do that, but there's no harm in asking, Hasama. Gotta love animations that look like they should be punished, but can't be. First 7-star where they came from? Maybe? I don't know. Again, if that's there, I don't know where to find it. Come on! Maybe I'm tipsy. I feel like I'm playing pretty sloppy right now. I'm definitely missing parries. Like, I know there's a lot of data stored, but it's not everything. and some of it does expire. Ugh. Red Hulk's numbers is a 7-star? I think they're fine. Red Hulk is simple. Red Hulk is a sledgehammer. Red Hulk doesn't answer everything, and that's precisely his strength, because he also doesn't need to do things and is almost impossible to turn off. Nice, Kevin. She's insane. Yeah, I'm going to decline on that one, Javier. It's okay for asking, but that's definitely the kind of thing that other YouTubers are a lot more able to answer than me. I mean, yeah, you're not wrong, Hinach. If somebody spends $3,000 a year on coffee, that's a car over 10 years, too. Oof. Whoops. Let's keep looking at the screen, DLL, shall we? Alright. Issue with Voodoo and Iron Man was that... Oh, yeah. Yes, I understand what you were asking about, Finn. Yes, the problem is that Voodoo is just looking for a nullify to trigger. Voodoo is not looking for a buff to be removed by a nullify. Because his nullifies are happening. It's just that Iron Man's armor-ups can't be removed by nullify, and so when Voodoo said... I believe Voodoo's description even says, I'm checking now, like, for each buff nullified, and that, technically speaking, is a lie. Actually, that's not what he says. He says 50% chance to envenom, God, old days, each of the opponent's buffs, nullifying it, and applying a poison. So you could read this as this, like, envenom, because it's capitalized, is its own effect, and what envenom means is both nullify and poison. And so even if the nullify doesn't do anything, the poison still happens. That is definitely not what was intended. Like, that is obviously not what the designer had in mind, but we could look at that one. That's really funny, John. I'm sorry for that. Uh, I was a child. Yeah, me too, Pablo. I would love to just do little tiny modernizing tweaks. Like that's what patch notes should be, right? Trappy was not happy with Rolf being in the Titan. Yeah, I've said this before. Trappy's a very talented player. Trappy's a very smart player. Trappy is also incredibly focused on a very small, very skewed part of the game. If everything we did made him happy, we wouldn't be doing our jobs right. I don't know exactly, Asama. I don't have it either, but I downloaded the game in like February or something. What do I want to see in MCOC as we're approaching 2025? uh, I think I said this in the marathon stream, so hopefully that means I can say it here without sending people into a tizzy. I want simplified info pages. AFK Journey has it. Honkai Star Rail has it, if I remember correctly. I want the ability to toggle between all of the technically correct stuff that I have to write so that you understand why an interaction just happened. I wanted the ability to toggle between that and Deathless. Thanos' special one gives him fury buffs. That's what I want. Excuse me, I just fully dropped my controller. God, I think I may have messed up the connection a little bit. Hopefully not. All right. Take care, Mikhail. That's funny, John. I don't know that there is a consensus, Harry. Some people like it, some people don't. Hey, Amon, it's been a while. Interaction. Keep up, peoples. Oh, Jesus, Potato. I'm sorry, but could you have asked that any less like a reporter trying to get a reaction? What does it mean for you personally and professionally? I'm not going to get fired because a character I built is getting rebalanced. Like, come on, bro. I'm also enough of an adult that I can handle it. I'm not crying about it. I know why I made all of the choices. I know why everybody around me said the things that they did at the time and etc. Like I know why he shipped the way he did. I think I have pretty good ideas about why he didn't fully land the way I intended. I don't regret the design any more than I regret designing Kate because she's overpowered, right? The design is good. The same way I love what I did with Kate, she just does too much damage. It's the same kind of thing. And for the record, I don't think Patriot's issue is that he doesn't do enough damage. I'm not putting that on the balance team. I'm just saying that it's like there's little things that could be a little bit better. That's like design tuning rather than numbers tuning. What I do professionally is more art than science. Nobody's perfect. Like I really don't mean this as any shade towards either of them because I have incredible professional respect for both of them, right? I actively learn from them, but both of my managers at the company have made mistakes. One of them balanced Juggernaut, the other one built Psycho Man, right? Like, nobody's perfect. That's what we signed up for. Because the same person that balanced Juggernaut also designed OG Black Panther's rework, which I think is one of the coolest things that we've ever done. The person who built Psycho Man also built Mr. Fantastic. People are more complicated than that. What we do is more complicated than that. I'm fine. If there's a timeline, I don't know it and can't speak to it, Eternity. Actually, wait, I do know it, but I can't speak to it. Shathra's Funamon, I took her to rank 3. Dude, Hasama, me too. I hate the objective pop-ups so much. I also very much like the current Titan. No, I get what you mean there, Harry. As parts of Isophene are intentional homages to Sorcerer Supreme, and Sorcerer Supreme is very good. She's just utility packed and slower than the modern game wants. I'm crying. Hey, James. I agree, Hasama. I do like it can be true both that Patriot is underrated and that we are doing the right thing by buffing him. Like I said earlier in the stream, I think that's true for Northstar. I think Northstar is badly underrated. I still think buffing him is the correct move. Okay, Blizzard, that's a good question. Yeah, it's when the defender is standing up and there is a little HUD icon for it. What I do is the minute the reversal triggers, I dash forward, and as I'm dashing forward, I throw the special 2. That's how I think about it. Thanks, Aji. I'm very comfortable in my career as a designer here. I know I've done good work, and that's not me patting myself on the back. That's just like, the correct amount of self-esteem. And that's not me saying I'm the best one at the company or any nonsense like that. I know I've done good work. And how fragile would I have to be to fall apart because one of my characters has bad data? Not is a bad champion, has bad data. Fair enough, potato. I saw that in Sans. It's funny. The person who balanced Juggernaut, I want them to balance my life. That's really funny. In defense of the Juggernaut's balancer, Battlegrounds wasn't live yet. Battlegrounds wasn't live yet, and you couldn't, and you did lose Unstoppables when dexing on the left side of the screen. Yes, both of those things are true. He was still too strong. Yeah, I suppose that's true, Harry. Feels tough. I hope so, Hanach, because I do think that Kate would still be in a very healthy spot in the game if her base critical damage rating came down, allowing the fragilities to be more important and dropping her critical cold snap damage, but basically leaving the rest of her kit as it is. I've said before, I also think that her true accuracy, as thematic as it is, could just be pursuit, and she'd probably be healthier that way too. Or it could be a pursuit that's upgraded to a true accuracy against science, right? Let her keep hitting Modok, that's fine. But, like, yeah, you could barely tweak Kate, and I think she would be plenty healthy. I don't think we missed the mark that badly on her. I think I was just rushed. She's the fastest I've ever had to push out a champion. Um, and she was at a tough time. One of the balance designers was actually on paternity leave around then. We were a bit short staffed, and we done goofed. Hulk was balanced by the same person, John. I don't know if you were doing that on purpose, but yeah, Spider-Punk's another good one. Hey, Snoops, how's it going? Yeah, Sorcerer Supreme is great. Also built by my manager, the same one who built Mr. Fantastic. Thanks. Luke Cage is proof enough. Good work. I do like Luke. Oh yeah, no, Jugs absolutely needs to be nerfed. Maybe not that much. It's a cool design. I think using Unstoppables as a resource is very neat. I said that at the time. He just hits too hard. Did I know I'd done goofed before she lost the 7-star vote? I mean, I was nervous pretty much from her release. So, kind of. Hey, Vishy, how's it going? I think the unfortunate side effect of an overtuned Kate is Iceman getting less value defensively because cold snap immunity used to be much rarer. Yeah, that's true. Isophine at least is a villain, yes, Harry. Na rebalanced Gladiator. Clarification. And I helped. Yes, the Thing designer is still there. The Fantastic Four were all designed by the same designer. So, same person I was talking about. Thing was one of his earlier ones. Alright, I'm doing this with a mouse this time. One sec. Okay, we picked up some points. I should be able to do some more of that tomorrow. Cool. Where are we? Not quite at a full one. Cool. Coming along. I do think Iceman is strong enough, but I know what you mean. I think Iceman's main issue is that he's not a great counter for the skill champions that get placed on a hazard shift in war. And he's a little on the slow side for battlegrounds. And that's like that's the whole thing. Because, like, if Iceman could block unblockable, and I'm not saying we need more of that, right? Because we have shipped plenty of block unblockable. Whoops. I hit the special button instead of the, that one. But, like, if Iceman could block unblockable and therefore was better for Nick Fury, he'd see a lot more use. It's as simple as that. Also, like, you know, if Hulkling was less busted with power backs and so wasn't just spammed for hazard shift everywhere, that would matter too. Yeah. I do remember that, Amon. I was reading more dialogue then. Sure thing, CT. Ouchie. I'm so not used to that button. I believe they're putting in a change to make it so that any button works for the Special 3 minigame, but it ain't here yet. Oh. Harry, I don't know if you know just how well targeted that was at Aiden. I don't know how long you've known him. The physical vulnerabilities definitely could be a bit longer. It's not a bad thought. Nah, I don't agree with you at all there, Hanach. Like, I don't agree that it's okay. I also don't agree that it is like an equal victimless crime, right? I think that's wrong on both counts. Like, from a player experience, there's nothing interesting. Hello? We're back. Sorry, my USBs seem to have just fallen apart there for a minute. Um, but like, there's nothing interesting about playing around Juggernaut, right? Not in my opinion. He's just overtuned. He just answers so many characters. Like, he makes the game less interesting and gets in the way of players learning and leveling up because, like, why does Juggernaut counter a Tuma? Why? It doesn't make any sense. Why was Juggernaut one of the best Serpent counters before, like, Serpent dupes were common? It didn't make any sense. He's just too strong. He actively gets in the way of the game being good. One. And two, he's bad for the company because somebody that strong hurts our ability to shape things, right? Like, a Tuma was supposed to make a bigger splash, haha, on release, and Juggernaut answering him so completely hurt that. That's not good for us, right? Things aren't just about revives and rewards for quests. I think it's a bit of that, Snoops. I think it's also... Sorry. Bad place to unpause. I think it's a bit of Battlegrounds brain. I also think that... Oof. Bit early. Nice. I also think the community is just vulnerable to narratives, right? And I don't think I'm saying anything groundbreaking there. But, like, there was a narrative built up around Leader. There was a narrative built up around Leader that Nefaria just ate his lunch completely. I don't think that's true, right? There are things Leader does better even within the, like, heal reversal, power reversal thing. And also severe debuffs are massive. And people just keep underrating those because the community underrates utility. Leader's green door was also bugged and made him harder to use. That didn't help. And then there was the narrative that, oh, Leader got completely turned off by the tactic preventing healing and power reversal, and his damage was terrible. And a bunch of people just believed that. And they were wrong. Because Leader was my MVP through that entire tactic. He has plenty of damage for war. I had multiple boss kills with him just using the special 3. Like, the community gets convinced of things without a whole lot of proof on a fairly regular basis. People definitely forget how annoying Icarus is on defense, Potato. The funny thing is, Icarus does some mildly interesting things where he would, like, almost be appropriate as a 7-star, except, like, offensively, the community wouldn't be excited about him. And then, like, on a design level, I don't think we want to release him because we want to go clean him up first. Yeah, and you're right too, CT. Like, Leader is better in Battlegrounds than people realize. I've used him both offensively and defensively. Like, that was even mentioned in the rebalancing post, right? Was high fight time against him. Nefaria may be bugged with Matador, but Leader is a better defender. On purpose. I'm not used to all these rubber band sounds with Reed. I've played him more than maybe anybody else on the planet. But not with sound. Ouchie! Come on. You were supposed to throw a light attack after that. Yeah, and I was supposed to do another dodge and then a light attack there. Alright, come here. Oh yeah, no, Deadpool's scary, Blizzard. Deadpool is very scary. I don't know exactly what just happened there, but I certainly didn't dodge the way I told it to. Thank you, Stagger. Yes, Invisible Deathless She-Hulk has been patched. That was fixed in the hotfix, but that's a good question. Respect them all. I love Ebony Maw. Yeah, I agree, Steven. Like, people love to talk about, oh, Kabam has just designed around... No, 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 no. If we are designing around an attacker regularly, that's bad. Agreed, Akbar. How's it going? I get where you're coming from there, Aiden, but, like, that's the kind of thing that ages super, super well. Nah. Don't agree, James. Not at all. Yeah, that's certainly part of it, Sans. But, like, the thing is that I am both annoyed at the community refusing to read, but I also understand. Because there's a lot to read in this game. Ugh. Sorry. Just PC controls getting to me. And that's why I made my comment earlier about simplified info pages, right? And, like, that's the first step. But I also think that, like, eventually, it would be nice if we had simplified nodes, too, right? Because I think that, like, there's a certain factor to how complex the game has become, where this is not true for some people. Like, some people are just not ever going to devote the brain power to it because they see game and they think, cool, brain off. That's fine. If they can still have fun and stick around, that's great. If they want to yell at me and call me names on the forums, not so much. But pff, what are you going to do? But, like, I do think that there are quite a few players out there where they see the very long info pages, they see the very long buffs, and they just bounce off them. They don't want to not read, but they see that, they have a visceral reaction to it, and they feel like they can't start. And I feel like if we had simplified descriptions where we gave you, like, 80% of the function, and then if you ran into something weird and wanted to know what actually was going on, you could. I feel like that would help a lot of people. Ouch. Jesus. Yeah. That's fine, this is the last fight. Yep, there it is. I agree, CT. June was a good month for, or sorry, July was a good month for new stuff. Yeah, and I hear that too, Pablo, right? Like, I'm not just... People do get caught up in narratives, but I understand why, because you can't invest in everybody all the time. There's a strong reason to listen to YouTubers. So I do get it. Weird. Thought I blocked that. He didn't go unblockable. Oh well. I've heard people in the community say that damage is utility, which doesn't really make sense to me. Okay, so the thing is that that gets overblown, but it's not fully wrong, right? Because if the fight is over, utility stops mattering. And that's what people mean like by that, right? Like the best utility is winning. And sometimes the way you win is just doing so much damage so fast that the fight doesn't matter, right? The reason that that's not the whole thing is that, like, you know, we've been doing this for a while. We're going to make fights where nuking it isn't always the answer. And so utility matters. But I get why people say that. Yeah, exactly. Magic and player removal is a good comparison. I am so far behind. I'm sorry. Y'all have been talking a lot, which I very much appreciate. Yeah, I get what you mean, Steven. So, okay, Hanach asks, is it true that Maul was changed last second because he was really overpowered? This is one of my least favorite narratives that the community likes to hang on to. Because what did I say earlier, right? Like, it is the job of a collaborative design team to hold each other accountable. That was true even before we had a really developed balanced team. It's true now. Um, and the thing is that, like, if a character was really overpowered and had to be changed at the last second, that means the designer wasn't done. That doesn't mean the balance team ruined it. That doesn't, like, that just means the designer wasn't done. That means the designer had to figure out a way to take the dangerous materials they had chosen to play with and get it right. And they weren't quite there yet, right? Like, you can say the same thing was true for me with Kate. We weren't done. We made a change. We made her stronger, close to the end. If we'd had more time, I think we probably would have dialed it back. Haha, dialed. I'm on fire tonight. No. But, like, I didn't have that time. I wasn't really done. The same thing was true with Broccoli with Maul. Like, so... I think I've said this before, too, but, like, most champions are overpowered before release. Because that's good design process, right? You want things to be a little bit overpowered because then when you're in playtest, you go, oh, that's the cool thing. That's what I'm supposed to chase. And so then you refine your loop around that and you get people going for the cool thing and then you dial down the power and you actually make it more reasonable, right? It's like doing line drawings before you add color. because the line drawings are harsher than what you intend for the final product. They're not as subtle, they're not as pretty, but they get the point across, right? Overpowered champions are line drawings. What we're supposed to be doing here is full color art. Hey, Dot. Honestly, that is one of the best metaphors I've ever had on this subject, and I really hope I remember that. Yeah, the game is very deep, Snoops, and that is definitely its greatest strength, but also one of its largest weaknesses. It's funny, Akbar. Maybe someday. I mean, you can enjoy the full descriptions, Aiden. Like, that's the thing. If we ship that as a toggle, you don't ever have to toggle it to the simple ones. We just need the option. And, like, YouTube videos aren't necessarily fast enough, Andrew, right? Like, and I'm not even talking about my 20-minute ones. Like, the kinds of info pages I'm talking about, you can process in 40 seconds or less. That's what I want in game, right? Like, that's faster than anybody who makes a good YouTube video about a character. There is also that sense. Reading comprehension is not exactly at its zenith. And I do appreciate that, Stephen. I do make those videos for a reason. Incinerate does decrease block proficiency. And yes, we do now have an official glossary on the website. I would love to have that in game. Yeah, I that is something I want us to change. Thank you for being a member, Cashew. But that is something I want us to change is the health pool in battlegrounds. It doesn't just have to go up, right? Like I'd be fine if we had a month where it was smaller too, right? Like just hyper nukes. But I think we need to play more with those parameters. My back didn't hurt. Gotcha. I think the reason I'm pushing back on it, Hanach, is that I don't even think it's that interesting a backstory. Because it's a standard backstory. And it was made like this big thing when that's just like common. That's just how design works. CGR was tuned down before release. CGR was just not tuned down enough. Did you write that down first? It was off the top of your head. Most of my best stuff is off the top of my head, Snoops. I just try to remember it later so it sounds good then, too. uh, I do remember that, Sans, the CCP. Yeah, when people like to poke Kabam Niv, they remind him Torch was buffed. He's not proud of that. I also want more metas like Armor Burn. Okay. Hey, easy evening. We've had a rousing 2 hours. I honestly thought I had been streaming for longer. You know what? I want to open a 7 star. Eh, it would be hilarious if I got a 6 star out of here and got there, but let's be honest, that ain't happening. Nope. That's probably true too, Aiden. Spite one was solid. Cool. Half of one more crystal. Quarter of another crystal. I'll take it. Alright, I want to open something. This hasn't refreshed yet, has it? It has! Perfect. Oh, I guess I should buy those tomorrow. I'll deal with that then. Or not, if I can't afford this. I mean, it only matters if I get to 10, right, Snoops? Alright. Did I play 2 hours of Arena? I mean, how much of my talking are you going to count against that? Is the question. Oof, sorry, CT. Ooh, that's a second dupe on Crossbones. I'm pretty happy about that. He's definitely going to rank 2 soon. I was waiting on the dupe. Okay, yeah, very happy with that. That's my boy. Go away. Trying to maximize my heavies to ramp Dazzler? Yes, that is the right direction. Does Ice Fiend do anything for people who already have MD unlocked? I don't think so. And we talked about that, but I don't think every character needs to incentivize that further. Like, come on. Do you need more incentives to unlock Mystic Dispersion? I think it makes her balanced a bit more cleanly that she doesn't. Between Void and Crossbones, who would I invest Sigs into for War and Battlegrounds? Crossbones. Void gets better at high Sig, but it's way overrated. Like, Void is underrated in general, but Sig 1 Void is like 90% of Sig 200 Void. Sig 1 Crossbones is not 90% of Sig 200 Crossbones. Void's animations aren't very good. would love to see my top 10. I intentionally stayed out of that. I understand that people would get something out of it, and I understand that it's an interesting exercise to talk about that stuff. I don't love rating my coworkers' work in such a linear and unnuanced way, to be perfectly blunt. So I bowed out of that, but those videos are good. More frequent updates to the War Attacker rankings. Yeah, I'm probably about due for that. Let me get my spotlights with context out for these two. Let me get my leader showcase out, then we'll talk. It's always more. I'm a bad YouTuber. And like I don't mean that to like self-flagellate or fish for compliments. I think these streams have value. I think the videos I make have value. I'm just saying, like, from a very objective standpoint, if I were trying to grow my channel and actually succeed at this, I'm bad at that. And that's okay. That's not my goal, but sometimes I wish I was better. Yeah, fair enough. What happened to the war videos? Got tired if we weren't pushing for certain seasons. Just, I don't know. I've had a lot go on. Oh, also, real quick, before we, but before we move on, how do people feel about this text size? Because I know some of y'all are probably watching on, like, computer screens. Some of you are watching about phones. How does the chat look here? Do you want the background more opaque? Do you want the text smaller? Do you want the text bigger? Would you like it to eat more of the screen? Should I make it wider? Just, I'll give you a couple minutes to speak on that because I'm kind of testing something different with the PC version here. Okay, we got 2 votes for good on computer. You're a bad YouTuber, haven't uploaded in years. Nice, easy. Those are good ones. Off center, size looks fine, but overlay. I mean, it's supposed to be off center. Because I'm trying to leave room for the text. You think chat shouldn't be the entire column? Like, leave some room on top and bottom? Hmm. Can I have it in a sans font? It is in a sans font. There are no serifs. Do you not know what your own name means? Oh, sorry, potato. It's fine on mobile, good on iPad. Okay, I'm gonna think about it because I'm gonna play with this. I'm pretty happy with my iPad loadout at the moment, but corner of the screen. Gotcha. I guess if I'm as far behind as I was on chat today, it doesn't really matter if I have it there. So maybe that's something too. I don't know. I'm gonna think about it, but I appreciate the input. Okay. That's good. A lot of text space allocated to very old chats. Okay, I can maybe try it smaller. All right, fair enough. Appreciate y'all, and I will talk to you soon. Take care, everybody.